Hey, you, friend, podcast listener. I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
We're inviting you to check out our brand new movie review podcast, Cult of Sleaze. We will laugh, cry, and review our way through some of the best, worst films of all time, focusing on horror, cult films, and B-movies. Join our Sleazoid Society by downloading Cult of Sleaze on Spreaker, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Podchaser, Google Podcasts, or CastBox. Well, anywhere you get podcasts.
Devil is on his way. Devil is on his way. Devil is on his way, motherfucker. The devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way. Fall to your knees. Devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way. Motherfucker, he's on his way.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Mountain Murders. I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
How are you, Dylan? I know I always ask, but I like to check on you.
I am sassy, baby.
It's a sassy Sunday.
It is Sassy Sunday. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a hand towel or something. I'm so sassy.
I don't even know what that means.
I might be sweating.
You just say the most random things sometimes, and our listeners are like, what? I know they have to be thinking that because I'm thinking that, and I know you. So.
And well, they know to be brought around in the end typically. Sometimes I stare off into space.
That is true. There has been a lot happening in the world the last few days, Dylan.
Yes, definitely.
One of the most heart-wrenching pieces of news, and we can qualify this as true crime news, is what happened to Tyree Nichols in Memphis.
Yeah, I've got to say this is unfortunately we keep seeing these video after video of these instances, but this is one of the most brutal that I've seen of a restrained person being held down and attacked.
I'm not going to watch it. I feel like it's torture porn, and I'm absolutely not going to watch it because I don't think I can handle it. It's too much.
And we're going to talk about another aspect of this entire situation. We're not going to talk about because honestly, we could talk for an hour about this, I'm sure. And you always had the black, white angle, if it, and all this, but it's another American. See, that's what we need to start saying. That's the conversation we need to start. Another American died.
An American citizen.
Another American citizen.
A born, raised, tax-paying, red-blooded, all-American citizen has been brutalized and killed by law enforcement.
Yes, died at the hands of authorities.
They need to get rid of immunity for law enforcement, and they need to hold those officers to a higher standard when it comes to judicial punishment. Because when you are in a position of authority and you are abusing your power, you should be even more accountable for your actions.
Oh, we've said this before.
You know better.
If you're a child predator and you're in a position as a teacher, a cleric, a pastor, or preacher, or whatever, these positions of authority, because you have this, you represent. Don't just represent yourself. You represent your profession. The institution.
The institution, yes, absolutely.
And you certainly, I think, should be held to a higher authority, or a higher, the qualified immunity and all that really needs to have. Anyway,
we need to demilitarize police because law enforcement has this attitude that they are like the military, that they are in combat in our streets, and that it's an us against them mentality. And that cannot sustain.
No.
We cannot see more of this brutality we have to take a stand. We absolutely have to. And I know we have folks who listen to the podcast. They don't necessarily like it when we get political, but this shit fires
This isn't political for me.
Up.
This isn't political.
Because it happened to this gentleman. Who's to say it's not going to happen to you or to your child, to your best friend? I mean, if they're willing to do this to a 29-year-old man during a traffic stop, who is to say that they're not going to come for you next? It just has to end.
And I'm sorry, the people that are still saying, well, if you fully cooperate, this does, I hate that happened, but this is, I don't care if he cussed their moms. I don't care if he bit them. I don't care of any of that. I mean, I do. You should, I would never do that. But once someone is restrained and you continually pummeling them, 4 or 5 people.
7 people.
Piled on top of this
with
person.
Guns and tasers and clubs.
You cannot support their actions. You can't.
You cannot. And this is a traffic stop. It is not like this man is being apprehended after he just committed a mass shooting. We don't even do this to people like Dylan Roof, who goes in a church and it's a hate crime and fucking blows away innocent people who are praying in church, who've welcomed them into their church. We don't even beat a fucking douchebag like that to death.
No.
But some innocent guy, because he's innocent until proven guilty, gets beaten to death at a fucking traffic stop? This is a travesty, and it makes me absolutely ashamed that we live in a country where this is allowed to go on. It has to stop. Okay, I'm done.
Well, I agree completely. And honestly, we didn't plan to talk this much about this situation, but it's for real. And like I said, another American citizen died at the hands of authorities on camera. I mean, just when does it stop? Having a gang, this is a gang in blue.
Okay, so that's really where we were going with this before I had that fire in my belly to start hollering like I'm a Appalachian Pentecostal preacher. When
you have these elite gang street units, and I've seen these guys in Atlanta, and they're scary.
Well, yeah, you grew up. I mean, you were born in Atlanta.
Well, yeah.
You've seen this.
But I mean, going back and forth to visit my sister and mom there some years ago, this is a scary group. But I'm no less intimidated. Actually, I'm more intimidated by them because if these guys get on you, there's nobody to call.
No.
You don't call the police for help. They are the fucking police. So, and it really...
It's just like the gangs in Los Angeles.
It reminds me of the police gangs
corruption
in Los Angeles.
Has endured since the fucking cowboy days in Los Angeles.
Yes, it's a very storied
history. If anyone
history.
wants to go look at the history of LA and law enforcement there, yeah.
They had units, the Reapers, the Sandman. I mean, these are just it's predator versus prey. Okay. So here's another element.
Disbanded 70 members of the Scorpion unit in Memphis.
Yeah.
Well, it's about damn time.
Well, people say he could have just complied. They could have just let that small traffic violation go too and not pull this guy over. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just time to do something. Anyway, so, Memphis is preparing for issues to happen as an area.
Well,
okay?
Terry Nichols has just become the latest victim of Memphis's abuse. There is a history of
this was
police abuse in Memphis.
This was so callous. They were literally holding this man up basically and having a go. They broke a baton on his body, on his face, head, I believe.
Oh
you wouldn't believe. This really put me in the mind, the shock value. It took me back in the day because we were really deep. This wasn't a national conversation constantly. Police brutality, your rights and all this. And Rodney King. It took me in my mind back to that. Yes.
When Rodney King happened, that's
right.
92, right? The LA riots. That, as a 12-year-old kid, seeing that on the news was the most
scary,
horrific, troubling thing I'd ever seen in my young life. I was not allowed to watch horror movies, stuff like that. So for me, that was like traumatic.
That was a flashball memory for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're right, Dylan. I mean, and this shit's been going on. That was 30 years ago?
And what was the scariest part of that? It was the fucking police doing it to somebody.
Yes.
That was the scariest part. Okay. And so Memphis is preparing. Well, this is be a long open, folks. This is important stuff. Memphis is preparing for possible unrest.
Well, you know what, Dylan? That's our podcast.
It's true.
We can do what we like.
I'm looking at the producer right now. They're giving me the thumbs up. I'm going to keep going.
That producer is me.
That's Heather. Thank you, Heather.
Yeah.
And so they're preparing for issues, unrest, communities, wrong or right, people protesting, all this. So here's a very interesting thing.
Here's the thing that kills me, Dylan, real quick, is that they urge for peaceful protests.
Yes. Well,
in the face of you just beat a fucking man to death. But we're supposed to be peaceful?
Right.
Was the police peaceful? They're the ones that should be peaceful. Okay, anyway.
Well, and I'm still waiting for the good cops to rout out the bad ones. Because this was
there's just a few bad apples, Dylan. It's not all cops. Well, where are the fucking good ones? Have they been standing up since George Floyd?
No.
Since Rodney King?
They didn't stop anybody. The other cops didn't stop because they were in on it. I mean, that's what the video says. There is no good cop in that unit. There was no good cop with that unit that night.
Well, people in the United States get very upset when we discuss unions, and unions should not be, but they absolutely support the police having a union? Okay.
Well, I mean, this gets in a whole nother conversation. Look how quickly these are all black officers who beat a black man to death, and look how quickly they were fired, charged. The police union's quiet on the issue. It's not dragged out. It didn't go on for years. I mean, there's all kinds of conversations we can have about this situation.
Absolutely.
The one that concerns me the most is that, literally as we're watching these videos nowadays, people are saying, oh, they're thinking about their stupid fucking Facebook arguments in their head while they watch this horrible, traumatic shit, instead of saying, my God, and not crying because you're watching an American be beat to death in front of you.
No empathy.
An American citizen. Our brains are fucking warped from this social media, the online conversation.
Yes. Compassion and feeling something in your fucking soul when you see shit like that.
We're so desensitized to this shit.
It makes me want to cry. I'm going to try not to do that because that would be embarrassing. On
we will move it along. But I have an interesting thing, and I saw this some during the summer, or I guess the summer of BLM protests, George Floyd, all that, claims that when these riots would start or area would be about to pop off, no matter where, people would find pallets of bricks just sitting on the corner or sitting right in the mouth of an alley in these areas. And people thought it was weird. And they would take pictures like, I don't see anything being built. There's no construction here. There's really no reason for this entire whole pallet of bricks that you would need equipment to set out to be sitting here. And we're already seeing more of this come out of Memphis. And I find this very interesting. What do you think, Heather?
Well, there have been claims that these alleged suspicious piles of bricks is disinformation and that it was spread during the 2020 protests with Black Lives Matter over the death of George Floyd. But when you're seeing videos,
when you're seeing live videos,
people are like, hey, I'm in Atlanta and there's this random pile of bricks right here. That's odd. So, and it's just so hard to believe.
You don't want to believe it.
Well, it's hard to know who to trust because obviously the media everything is misleading. It's misinformation. It's all conspiracy theory. It's being spread. But then you have real life people saying, hey, look at this shit. And they're showing you their surroundings. I'm in downtown Memphis. There's a pile of bricks here.
And they literally turn at 360 and there's no construction.
Exactly.
No fence site, nothing. And there's just random, I don't know.
So who do you trust these days?
I don't know.
You can trust yourself. That's about it. Well, you can't trust the fucking police. I'm going to say that.
Oh, my God. Well, you can't trust these police we're seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
And I don't want the fucking Tiger unit to fucking pull. Why is the Scorpion unit making traffic stops?
That's a good question.
This is a gang busting, shit kicking, sod kick busting unit. They take ass.
This is like Michael Chiklis's unit on the Shield.
Yeah, and the only reason, that's a good analogy, that him and his guys on the Shield would traffic stop somebody is because they're getting another angle or they have another suspicion.
Because they've been performing surveillance on this individual.
Because they've been doing a bunch of...
They know
Yeah.
that this person's caught up in the
Yes.
drug world or something. This is a fucking routine traffic stop. You have no right to do this to an American citizen. They should have let this fella go, and then they could have gone to his residence and made an arrest or whatever. But this entire situation, fucking out of control. It cannot stand, man. In the words of the dude, this aggression cannot stand. Okay, moving along, Dylan, because we got a lot of thoughts and feelings about it. And I'm
Well,
sure
it's been
lot
a
of
while
folks
since we
do.
had an episode that likely lost its listeners. So you know what? As we've said before, and nothing against anyone's opinion, that this is how we feel.
In the words
And it hurts.
of Omar Little, my all-time favorite TV character on the show The Wire, it's all in the game,
It is all in the game.
right?
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some.
You know,
But we know that our loyal listeners who stand by know that we're coming from a place of care and concern, right?
we should care about each other. Even if I don't agree with you on politics or abortion or religion or sexuality or any of that shit, I still care for you. You're a human. God, is that? Yeah, I do. I look at that person. I don't want to see someone all fucked up and suffering for no reason.
No, I want to
Even if I hate everything they say.
I want to see people win. I want to see people happy.
That's
and
the
healthy.
heart that's gone out of society, not just in America anymore. It's in the world. It seems like it's just,
is rooting for your neighbor.
yeah, we root for them to fail. I mean, literally, we'll sit across the street and say our neighbor has all this stuff, all this new stuff, and if you see them going sideways or you know word gets out, they're divorcing, in the back part of your brain, you're like, ha, because you didn't like even subconsciously seeing your neighbor do good. It's fucking crazy, dude.
It is. Dylan.
Wow,
Okay.
man, I feel deep.
We're going to change frequencies, okay?
What's your frequency?
Are you ready to get the true crime mountain murders party started?
Uh-huh.
Like the black eyed, you mentioned earlier, like
Yeah.
like the black eyed peas.
You know,
were-
the Black Eyed Peas went for years trying to make this thing happen that Heather wants to get started right now. And it's the party.
I want a good party. See, I want that for everybody. I want everybody to have like a good party where they're just happy and having a good time and you're just having the best night of your life. Like, I want that for everybody.
Everybody has a good party before anyone has two good parties.
Exactly. Okay.
Wow, that was like an old-timey politician. That sounds pretty good.
You do. So, Dylan, it is our last Sunday in January, which means we are wrapping up our time in Tennessee.
I've got to say, I've
The
enjoyed
volunteer state.
all the states and areas we've been in doing this little quest up through the Appalachias. But I've enjoyed. Kentucky was great. Tennessee has been great. So yeah, let's just keep it going.
February, we're moving into Pennsylvania. And I have to say, I'm going to preface Pennsylvania month with our first case in Pennsylvania next weekend is going to be a banger.
I'm telling you, man,
It is a wild ride. It is a true crime case that you've probably not heard before. And it is wow. It's going to be a doozy.
Damn, PA.
Yeah.
You finna make it happen.
Telling you, as I've been digging into some of the Pennsylvania crime stories, I have found some things that have really blown my mind, and I cannot wait to share them with all of you.
Baby, I want you to share it with me.
Before we get started real quick, I want to mention I am trying to gather material for a listener episode. We haven't had a good listener episode in a bit, so I would love to get some listener stories. If you have something for us, you can always send that to mountainmurderspodcast@gmail.com. We would love to release a good listener story episode because I love to hear from you guys. You always have mind-blowing, just amazing, what the heck kind of stories, and we are here for it.
Man, I'm telling you, talking about changing frequencies, that just made me vibrate and all warm and fuzzy inside. I love the listener stories.
And we have a few already, but I would like to get a couple more in the mix. So go ahead. You've been thinking about sending in a story. It doesn't even have to be crime related. It could be some weird, kooky paranormal experience. Maybe you saw a UFO. You think you saw one of those flesh walkers.
Wow, I really thought you were going somewhere else with that. Let's just keep moving.
Maybe the Mothman stole your catalytic converter in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Hit us up. Tell us about it.
That's actually a funny movie concept. Just have some mythical urban legend, scary creature like fall on hard times, and now they're like bombing and shit.
Well, I told you.
They're like couch surfing.
I want to make that the Bigfoot movie where Bigfoot terrorizes the town, and then he gets in the Bigfoot monster truck.
No, God, Heather,
but
Jesus,
yeah,
no. Why? Throughout our catalog of episodes, how many times have you worked this idea of Bigfoot?
Look, I'm never going to abandon my Bigfoot in a Bigfoot monster truck movie.
Oh my God!
But see, maybe
Every time.
maybe he fell on hard times.
Oh yeah, but he's got a damn monster truck.
Well, it's because he stole it. Because
Ah,
in my head in the movie, Bigfoot's been hiding out, but this town is having this Bigfoot festival.
yeah,
Right.
right.
And they're just like they're trying to build their whole brand on Bigfoot, but then he starts actually appearing. Because maybe he's like digging in the trash and stuff. Because again, maybe he's falling on hard times. He's sleeping in somebody's barn,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Okay, moving
Jesus
along. Are you ready?
Christ.
We have a story out of Tennessee today
Oh my God.
that we need to get into, Dylan, real quick. And I will shut up because we are way off the chain here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We need to get headed in one direction.
Come back, Heather. Come back.
Come back to the path. You're off in the weeds.
Yes. Well, this is what happens because we both have attention deficit disorder. Livia Rose Smith was born April 30th, 1980. So she is only about a week younger than me. The Smiths resided in Leeds, Massachusetts. Leeds is a small blue-collar village in Northampton, and kind of now it's known more for having like a funky bohemian vibe. But in the 19th century, Leeds was known for its textile manufacturing, including broadcloth, silk, and vegetable ivory buttons, as well as extensive manufacturing of farm implements and household goods. The major producer of silk in Leeds was the Corticelli Silk Mills, which were owned by the Nonotuck Silk Company. I know you always love a little bit of that industrial history, Dylan.
You damn right. That's the backbone of this country, you son of a bitch.
So, blue collar mill town, a lot of that business has gone away. It's, a bygone era of these manufacturing communities. A lot of these blue collar jobs have shipped overseas, but they have embraced kind of having the funky bohemian vibe. They probably got a lot of those really cool old brick mill buildings that are now like funky loft apartments. When I was living in Massachusetts, I saw a lot of that.
Well, I would say, with the kind of the way some of these areas are gentrified and brought back to life nowadays, besides the cons of gentrification, it's really brought life back to entire areas that used to would have sat empty. You know what I mean? Now it's an asset to have one of these old historical, 2-3 story brick and mortars, right?
The Smiths, meaning Livia's parents, were a painter and a nurse. But Livia and her brother Ian Struthers were primarily raised by their mother. Their parents' marriage, it ended in divorce. That happens a lot. From an early age, Livia had a creative inclination and gregarious personality. She was described as bubbly and never afraid to break into conversations with strangers. It was like Livia had a magnetic kind of ability that people were just drawn to her. And I feel like Livia sounds awesome, and she's somebody that I would have wanted to be friends with.
Yeah. That sounded much like a Dateline description of someone.
Well, she was well-liked, popular, and had a keen fashion sense. All the things that I'm into, Dylan. Growing up, she always dressed impeccably and would also act as her brother's personal shopper, styling him for school. Always making friends. She was one of those people who didn't have to try. She just had like this air of cool about her.
So, and that's when someone's really cool.
Just the cool.
You know what I
girl.
mean?
Yeah.
You take someone who's trying to be all these ways. If it's just not natural, it's just totally different.
And then you're like, you can kind of sense like this person's a little bit of a poser.
Well, yeah, when someone, I'll tell you, the starkest example of this is when someone tries to do that quirky, this was just laying in the floor of my closet outfit. I didn't think about it. I just kind of threw it on and ran out of the house.
Basically, you're describing every person that lives in Asheville that's quote unquote cool.
But in reality, that is very curated. They've thought about.
They spent some time.
They have their
matching the plaids with the stripes.
Yes, and they have their Japanese anime shirt from Japan that they bought on used on eBay, and it's just like, calm the fuck down.
And they have their like unique red patent leather Doc Martens that are like a one of a kind edition or something. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Livia was accepted into Smith College out of high school. Smith is a member of the elite Seven Sisters colleges, which is, kind of, they're a group of all women's universities and colleges. Smith is very competitive, Dylan. Only about 30% of those who apply are accepted. Yet Livia wasn't really happy at Smith and realized she was better suited to a career in the beauty industry. Since she loved fashion and cosmetics, becoming a makeup artist was her calling. And everybody agreed it was a natural fit for the young woman. She went to New York, where she studied makeup artistry at Makeup Designery, which is known as MUD.
MUD, nice.
Livia thrived being in the epicenter of beauty and fashion. I mean, come on. We've got New York City. You've got Parsons School of Design. Tons of famous designers. You have all the runway shows, New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
so that was, if you wanted to be in this industry, you're in a great place
to be.
I'm sorry. My phone cut on. I fixed it.
Sure it did.
No, I'm sorry.
While in New York, you're so unprofessional. While in New York, she completed an apprenticeship and took on several high-profile clients. Livia worked very hard while living in New York City. And as we all know, I mean, it's expensive to live there. A lot of folks, especially creative types, go to New York and struggle. You really have to try to build your brand, your portfolio, your resume, network, make contacts. But, for someone like Olivia, who's just so naturally charismatic, she kind of flittered through with a little more ease maybe than most people.
Right. So she just has this natural ability of meeting people. It's one of those people, you meet them and you kind of feel like you've known them for a long time. You're just comfortable, instantly comfortable around them. So I could see that being a good asset, a great personality for living in the, trying to do this type of thing. And would you agree, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere?
Well, that's what they say.
Wow, yeah. Go New York.
When I was younger, I thought about moving to New York City for a period.
Oh, yeah?
My friend lived in New York. She worked in Manhattan. She lived out in Queens. She'd gone to Vassar, so she was already in New York and decided to move to the city. And I'd gone to visit her, and, it was just so bustling and like nothing I'd ever seen. And, I've traveled. And I was working as a nanny, like a live-in nanny au pair at the time. And I did look at some nanny jobs. And I even went as far as interviewing with some folks who lived out on Long Island.
Oh,
and they
wow.
wanted to fly me up to do like an in-person meet. Yeah. So I really toyed with the idea of moving to New York City. But then I decided to join the Navy. So I don't know. My life could probably be totally different by now.
Yes. Yeah. You might not be here.
I could be in like an off Broadway show where I could sing and dance.
Yeah. Like so far off Broadway, it's like in Delaware.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And I could be doing my like one woman, like Liza Minnelli cabaret show.
Yeah. For like a gas station cafe.
Yeah.
For like 4 people.
Yeah.
The time slot's like 2 a.m.
Musical theater in the hotspot gas station. Or maybe up north it'd be like a Wawa. Okay. Anyway. Enough of me. Olivia fell in love with a musician. And he had dreams of moving to Nashville. Now, being a supportive partner, Livia agreed to move to the hip southern town. The couple arrived in Nashville just as the recession hit in 2008.
Well, that's a tough time to be moving around. You know what I mean? Or, making major moves in your life when a recession kicks in. And
Nashville, Dylan, you've never been.
How do you know?
Well, you've told me.
Oh.
But I want to take you there. Kidding. Because Nashville really is a hip southern town.
No, I would love to go. We're going to go.
And there has been a huge influx of folks moving there. It is like booming. Very, very cool place. So we need to go. It was a trying time for many as they lost their homes and jobs dried up. I mean, you were hit by the 2008 recession.
Well, the 2008 recession is what got me out of putting fences up for a living and working at the paper mill.
Yeah, 2008
Yeah, so I mean,
got me out of working in real estate.
I mean, entire industries just stopped on a dime. I mean, of course, new construction, houses being built was a big part of the economy here in our county.
Dude, I was heavily impacted. I worked in real estate. I did marketing and a lot of the MLS, which is the multi-listing site work for a real estate company. And when I first started, we had 11 offices in Western North Carolina. And by the end, we were down to 2. Yeah. So I saw the layoffs, the closures. My bosses went through a bad bankruptcy. I had angry plumbers and electricians showing up,
People trying to get paid
because they had helped build subdivisions and weren't getting their
Yeah,
money.
they were probably be owed tens of thousands of dollars.
There were literally times I thought, holy shit, this guy's going to come back in here and shoot me with a gun, because I helped with the front desk and stuff. And then I moved on to be like the office manager. So I was like really the only person in the office at one of the second business we had. I mean, so it was a lot. And it was terrible. I mean, people losing their homes, jobs, gas. Remember, gas was like $4 and what we're used to paying now.
Oh, I remember.
A lot.
I remember. But yeah, it was a devastating time.
So this is not the best time to move when you're both in creative fields and you're a newlywed couple and you move to a brand new place. This is, of course, going to be a recipe for marital disaster. I don't think many couples could survive these circumstances.
Well, and when you're young too, these are tough, very tough circumstances to, keep a level head, try to make the right choices. So yeah, it would not be easy.
Well, Livia's marriage did not survive the stressful economic downturn, again, which is easy to understand because it would be difficult for these two creative people who earn a living kind of outside the box to weather a financial storm. So her work in the luxury retail industry suffered.
Oh my gosh.
Because, money's tight. People are not paying for a personal makeup artist. Probably not spending the money. Musicians, the bands aren't getting booked.
Well, it's just everyone's impacted. Even people that have, a decent amount of money put back and stuff, they just get a general feeling of, I don't think I should be out there wasting money right now. So everything retracts, and it stops our consumer-based economy it stops it in its tracks.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't even think today.
It's okay.
I'm listening to your story though.
But Livia was goal-oriented and willing to do whatever it takes to survive. She's a survivor. She's not going to give up. I think Beyonce wrote a song about her. Well, although she endured a rough few years, Livia was eager to do whatever to get back on her feet, including working odd jobs, freelancing, working part-time jobs in various clothing stores and boutiques. So she was like, I'm not going to let this bring me down.
Well, and that's the type of attitude you have to even have a chance of making it through stuff like this.
Well, you
got to have that grit.
Well, we live in a world where it's sink or swim, Dylan. By 2013, Livia seemed to be turning her life around. Finally, she was headed in the right direction. She had landed a job as the counter manager for Chanel at the Dillard's in Green Hills Mall. And I know that you're staring at me like, huh? But I'm sure you've heard the brand Chanel.
Well, of course.
It's an incredibly high-end brand. Of course, Coco Chanel, despite the fact that she was a fascist, really changed fashion in the 20th century.
I done smelt it at the counter.
And for those out there, who like the makeups, and I do, Chanel is a very high-end brand. And it is not cheap. So I'm sure if you're selling Chanel, because I know just having had some friends who've worked at like makeup counters, a lot of these brands, they pay you a base, but then you do get commissions for selling products. And if you're selling these high-end products where it's $35 for a lipstick,
right?
You're probably getting some good commissions.
Yeah, even
from
at
these sales,
5% of your daily, because these people are going to buy $200 or $300 worth of makeup or $1,000. I mean,
Well, that's the thing. If you're buying Chanel, you gonna spend $100 and you gonna walk away with like 2 things.
So, I know a little bit about these luxury brands.
Right.
I listen to Business Wars.
You do.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have a brand like Chanel, a storied old brand, always in the higher end luxury. When they do a good job of protecting their brand and even bypassing business opportunities for like licensing and allowing other people to like slap your name on their product, that type of stuff, these brands, they don't do that. And that's what keeps kind of the mystique and the value of a brand like that. It keeps it up.
Gucci.
It doesn't get diluted.
Versace. Versace. Prada.
Well, yeah.
Balenciaga.
And Jesus Christ. But some of those have diluted their brand by what I just said, with licensing deals and lower quality. But if you keep the quality there and the scarcity, the fake scarcity, and people's like, oh, I have Chanel, but if I can get a Chanel at the gas station for $12, it's going to lose its power, its mystique.
I remember in like the 2000s having the like big knockoff Chanel sunglasses was the thing among my friends. And I always thought it was funny because I'm like, girl, you're wearing like a $30 pair of shoes and you've got these fake Chanel sunglasses. I think people know that you bought them in an alley.
You remember when they were really pushing those fake colognes in gas stations?
Oh, yeah.
Of like the big brands and stuff. And like some fucker, you'd be in a car with like 5 or 6 people and somebody would go in and like buy some of this fake shit and put way too much on in the bathroom and come back and you're just like, wow, now you all of a sudden smell and I can taste you.
Man, we are really all over the place today, but I have to mention, I was with my daughter in Walmart the other day and we saw some Dolly Parton. It's like Great Smoky Mountains perfume or something.
Wow, you want to smell like some ashes?
Well, I don't know what it smells like, but we were curious about it. And normally I don't buy my perfume at Walmart. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was curious. And because it's Dolly Parton, I kind of wanted some, but I refrained.
Okay.
Yeah.
It smells like a babbling brook.
Because I got my Kat Von D upstairs that I paid a lot of money for and I barely wear. So I figure I should just, wear that.
It smells like moss on the north face of the mountain in the sunlight.
It might.
Well, I bet that smells good.
Well, shit, if Dolly Parton's name's on it, it probably smells amazing. Everything she touches turns to gold.
Okay, so here we are.
Hey, we're in Tennessee. We're talking about Dolly Parton. It's fine.
No, that's good.
Okay, so Livia was also working as a freelance makeup artist for musicians and artists in Nashville. And this is a great place for her to be because think about Nashville. You have this bustling music scene. You have a lot of established artists, but you also have an influx of like young artists moving there, trying to make it big. So finding a freelance artist to help with like photo shoots, music videos, these gigs, she's kind of in a perfect spot to build her career.
Well, yeah, if you're going to try to be in a creative field, if you're in a very creative environment like this, of course that's going to help.
Yeah, so why am I living here and not in a creative environment, Dylan?
I don't know.
We got to move.
We got to move.
Stifled.
We got to move a county over and change our life.
No, thanks. I want to move like some states away. Livia bought a home on Barclay Avenue in East Nashville, which is now a sought-after neighborhood, where rents are in the upwards of like $2,000 a month, and the minimum home price starts today around $400,000.
Damn.
Yeah. So from what I'm gathering, just through my research, because I haven't been to Nashville in some years, this is like a real hip, trendy. East Nashville's like super hip and trendy. Everybody wants to live there. You got lots of bars and restaurants. It's super cool, right? You have all these cute little houses that have been remodeled, and she was lucky enough to kind of get in before the prices raised. And Livia's friend Adam was her roommate, along with her beloved Dalmatian pit bull mix, Ellie. I'm curious what a Dalmatian pit bull looks like, because I bet that's a fucking cute dog.
Yeah, I bet so. Well, actually, I think it's likely the Colby blood, a specific bloodline of pit bulls, and they have a lot of black spots.
But it sounds like Ellie was Livia's bestie. She always had the dog. She adored the dog. We know dog people, right?
We are dog people.
I am a dog person. So by all accounts, it seemed Livia was in her prime. Not only was she seeing a lot of success career-wise, but she also had a very active social life. Livia seemed to be, as they say, Dylan, just living her best life. She had gone through kind of a rockabilly phase, while she was in Nashville.
Okay.
She went through a juice phase and then a dance phase, according to friends. She had recently taken up yoga. Not only was she a staple at Nashville's hottest night spots, but Livia could be seen at the indie rock shows in town. She loved music, collected records, and listened to bands like The Smiths, XX, and Beach House.
Damn, so she's just living it up.
Again, she sounds super fun. She sounds like the kind of person I would want to be friends with.
Yeah, I think I would gravitate to be. I'm like, who's it? She sounds fun, interesting,
And she's super pretty.
and she's very pretty.
She's very cute. So she's just like got it going on, right? Her roommate Adam told the Nashville scene that he knew Livia was destined to be his friend after a costume party fiasco. Livia was always up for fun, adventure, and a chance to be, extra. The pair decided to attend a costume party dressed as the 80s Brat Pack, specifically characters from Pretty in Pink. Andy, which of course is played by Molly Ringwald, and Ducky, as we know, famously portrayed by John Cryer. But when they arrived to this party, no one else was dressed up.
Oh my God.
But that did not stop them from having a great time.
And that is exactly what you do when you arrive at what you think is going to be a costumed or dressed up event, and you go in there and no one else is.
And you just kill
live
it.
your best life.
Yeah.
Because you are going to be the center of attention that all evening.
And people love it. You may feel like, oh my gosh.
No,
it'd
people
be
are,
like
yeah.
a little, but people really love it when you have somebody who's just like, I don't care, and still manages to have a good time.
Oh my God, that reminds me of Halloween here. We just made some costumes up and kind of
Are you talking about this past Halloween?
yeah, and just went to and no one was really dressed up there.
I know.
And
I
we
was, I was dressed as Reagan from The Exorcist, so I'm wearing this old vintagey blue lacy nightgown from the 70s and a wig, and I have vomit all over my
pea
face.
soup.
I seriously took real food and put it on me, and blood, and I had a cross, and then you were dressed I don't even know, like a butcher, crazed butcher or something, like the Demon Fleet Street butcher. You had a butcher's apron with blood.
Oh yeah.
Your face was all bloody.
What the hell?
Yeah, we go in our little local dive bar where we frequent, and we were the only people in there who are wearing costumes, and of course everyone's staring at us, but we're just like, whatevs.
Edibles and drinks, y'all.
Yes, living la vida loca.
Okay, so she's bebopping around, living her best life, having a great time.
Just being the life of the party. Now, Livia tried dating and even used the internet to meet some new people. She was on the website OkCupid and met someone through Grindr who turned out to be one of her good friends. I didn't know Grindr was
You didn't know it was for hetero people too?
I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about Grindr, but I always thought it was more like a hookup app.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it.
I've never ground, but I've heard of Grindr for a very long time.
But you've grinded.
A lot of people grind.
Yeah. They do.
And I think the whole thing is you'll be like, I'm go home, see if I can scoop up somebody to take with me. And they're like, they're 3 feet from you. I'm like, what? You matched.
Yeah, okay.
We matched, baby. Not on Grindr.
Not on Grindr. She met someone who lived in Atlanta and even made the trip to spend the weekend, but was disappointed when love didn't bloom. Livia also enjoyed arts and crafts. She would make hats and scarves for her friends and even take the time to personalize them with little name tags because she was so detail oriented and had this very thoughtful nature.
I mean, she sounds great.
She does, right?
I mean, sounds like a great friend.
That's what makes this whole story so sad. It was February 19th of 2013 when Livia, who enjoyed the East Nashville bar scene, was out with her friend Anna Worstell, singer for the electric punk band Five Knives. Worstell's band had some success, making it on the Vans Warped Tour and even opening for the Smashing Pumpkins.
Damn, son.
How cool is that?
They're not playing around.
Super rad. The friends chatted with others, then headed to a place called Holland House, which was described as a speakeasy on Eastland Avenue, but it was really crowded. The pair then went to an area known as 5 Points. Do all towns have a 5 Points?
If you have,
Atlanta has a 5 Points. When I lived in Raleigh, there was little 5 Points.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder if that's occult symbology. Well, no, if you have a place where 5 points intersect, it's going to be such and such 5 points.
That's true.
Yeah. You got all these different people from different streets mingling together down there at the 5 points, but and everybody knows where it's at.
Yeah.
Everybody knows where
This is
them
where, like,
roads.
the Sharks and the Jets and the Warriors and everybody like meet up.
Yeah.
Well,
They'll be like, you come on down to 5 points and say that, you some bitch.
Well, this is where they ended up at a sports bar called Edgefields, and they played darts. Then they went to a bar or whatever called Red Door. However, the women agreed they were not feeling the energy at Red Door, and they ended up at a hot spot called Three Crowbar.
Okay. I'm going to assume there's a ton of places and bars and restaurants and stuff in this area.
Oh, yeah. So by then, Livia was drinking water, ready to throw in the towel. She told her friend Anna she had to work in the morning and needed to head home. Anna was only slightly concerned about her friend's soberness. Livia was speaking normally with only a slightly slurred speech. Anna offered a ride, even kind of demanding, like, you need to let me take you home. And Livia, she was like, nah, I'm okay. There is a cab outside. Don't bother. Like, I don't want you to have to leave to take me home.
I'm going to go straight outside into the cab and I'm gone.
Exactly. So you just kind of hang out and enjoy yourself. There was no reason to leave the bar on her account. And, of course, hailing a taxi would be easy. There's lots of them in this area driving the drinkers home. The responsible folks.
It's almost like they know that a bunch of people are going to come here, eat and drink and need a ride home. Those taxi guys.
They're onto something.
Yeah, they're like psychics.
Livia was not known to take cabs typically. Like, this was not a common thing for her. The drive was only about 7 minutes from the bar to her 3-bedroom brick rancher. Friends thought it was unusual, but they were also like, wow, that's very responsible for you to avoid driving. And perhaps Livia thought, I've finally grown up.
Okay.
I'm not going to drive myself. I'm going to be a grown-up and take a cab home and do the right thing.
That is the right thing.
Now, one of the bartenders thought Livia might need help getting into the yellow cab Nashville, so her friend Anna assisted. It was sometime between 1:40 and 1:45 a.m. on February 20th. Livia should have arrived home a few minutes later. It was around 5 a.m. when a passing motorist, a neighbor heading into work, found Livia's lifeless body laying in the road just 2 or 3 doors down from her home on Barclay Avenue.
Yeah, I don't know why, but whenever I hear someone has been killed very, very near to their home, it seems even more sad. I don't know. I guess I view the home as a place of sanctuary and protection or something. But yeah, that's terrible.
She died from blunt force trauma to her head with abrasions on her hands and knees and was just left on the side of Barclay Avenue. Her black clothes were intact and her purse and phone were found nearby. Investigators went to work trying to rule out possibilities. Was this an accident, a homicide? Was the taxi driver involved in her death? Police believe she died of some sort of striking, like the back of her head, maybe in a fall consistent with jumping or being pushed from a moving vehicle.
Okay.
Yet no conclusive evidence surfaced. Witnesses tried to recall what the cab driver looked like. Some said the driver was male but not white, perhaps Middle Eastern or Hispanic, which described many of Nashville's cab drivers. Others said it was a yellow van, which led investigators to consider it was Yellow Cab Nashville, as they were like the only company around that offered these yellow vans. Quote, at this point, it's apparent that something happened inside this cab, said Detective Matt Filter to Channel 2 News. Fellow Nashville police officer Donald Davidson agreed. He said, quote, something may have been going on in the cab where she felt like she needed to get out. We just don't know. Davidson was responsible for working the traffic division. There was no evidence of sexual assault, but investigators said that doesn't mean something did not happen inside the cab. Now, by all accounts, the driver was the last person to see Livia alive. However, there wasn't any video footage of Livia getting into the cab or of the driver. It was as if she stepped into a ghost cab only to be found dead hours later.
My God.
Now, how frightening is this?
Yeah. On 1 minute, your friend's like, no, I'm fine. I'm going home right quick. A busy, bustling part of town, I'm sure. lots of people around, and then boom, this happens to him. Like that, it just wouldn't make sense.
Nashville's Fatal Crash Unit processed the scene. Investigators interviewed cab drivers who worked in East Nashville, specifically the Five Points area, but none could identify the driver. When police searched Nashville's yellow cab company, they could not find a single fare for the time or location. The record keeping, they learned, was extremely lacking. This is not good.
No.
I mean, it seems there's no accountability for these drivers.
Yeah, that's not good at all because, that seems to go hand in hand with having a cab business, having a log and a very precise, because a lot of times authorities,
a meter in the cab.
Yeah, will be happy if they know that a cab's involved because
you can clock the fare.
They can clock the fare. You can see the pickup, the destination. It seems to be able to get a lot of information, time, who did what, when. But yeah, this seems unusual for there not to be any records.
At the time, there were not a ton of requirements for taxi drivers. Cab companies were not expected to use any kind of GPS tracking system in the vehicles. If the cab carrying Livia had any kind of a GPS tracking system, it might have been easier for them to trace her steps. Livia's friends pressured the Metro Transportation Licensing Commission to require the GPS as part of the inspection annually of taxi cabs. At the time of Smith's death, there could have been up to 100 cabs in this specific area.
Wow.
100 cabs in this few blocks radius. I mean, that's a lot.
And that just boils down to, if you're not required by law to do something, they're not going to spend the money to do it, even though they could gain a lot of advantages. Make sure where their drivers are, make sure what they're doing, with their cab, with their property. But yeah, that's it. That really pisses me off. I was listening to a story on Dateline the other day. Right quick, I'll say this. Someone kept kidnapping women at gunpoint from this fucking parking lot.
The mall.
Of this
Florida.
Mall. Yes.
I heard this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Boca Raton. And they kept on. The guy kept getting people. And another person would go missing. They'd be like, and the mall still didn't have cameras in the parking lot. So you're basically baiting a trap for a predator and refusing to spend a few bucks. In the big scheme of things, it's a few bucks if you own an entire mall to make people fucking safe. Even after you have an example of someone using the fact that you have no cameras to their advantage. They're literally hunting in your parking lot and they keep coming back. And that pisses me off to save a few bucks.
People don't care.
Okay.
Livia's brother, Ian Struthers, has offered a $10,000 reward for information regarding his sister's death. Now, he believes, due to witness statements, that it was a yellow van, that yellow cab Nashville, employed the driver responsible for his sister's death. He has stated publicly that he does not believe the cab company has been forthcoming with information. He has asked the people of Nashville to avoid this unsafe company and to boycott it.
See, this is another pro the cab company would have if they did make this investment, and they would be able to prove. They would have the information. Like, no, our guy went here, dropped her here. You would have proof, so it's not just, and you wouldn't have these types of accusations against you.
President of the cab company, Doug Trimble, insisted his company fully complied with the investigation, and the reason there's no evidence to share is because they were never involved. Trimble says the turnover rate among cab drivers is high, and though he interviewed personally 180 drivers, he's had no luck. Trimble also expressed that the drivers have hours a day in which they are unaccounted for. Unless they have a dispatched call, it's pretty difficult to keep track of every fare. Well, do better, Doug.
Well, you get some fucking GPS, Doug.
Trimble believes that Livia may have gotten into one of the what they call renegade taxi cabs in the city, those that are not part of a credible company, but they're often painted yellow so that people think it's this yellow cab Nashville, but it's really just some rogue driver.
So it's an unlicensed operator who's working under, off the books, under the table. And that's very dangerous. That sounds very dangerous to have mixed in.
Dude, it totally is dangerous.
With the legitimate cab drivers, even if they are just trying to make a buck.
When you get in the backseat of that cab, I mean, they could take you anywhere, especially if they're armed or something. I mean, having an unlicensed driver, This raises a lot of concern and could lead to very dangerous situations.
Honestly, I've not used cabs or Ubers or any of that a whole lot in my lifetime, and I don't care for it because I feel vulnerable when someone I don't know, a total stranger, is driving me because I don't have that. I feel a loss of control,
Right.
and a bit of an uneasiness, even if it's subconsciously.
Now, I have taken cabs. Specifically, when I lived in the DC area, I tried to use public transportation, the metro, and I had a car, but I tried to travel by metro as much as possible. But, there were some times that I would need to get a cab, and it always made me feel some type of way, especially when, it's like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
The train station's closing down. The last place I lived, my apartment was about a mile from the metro station. And under normal circumstances, you might think, oh, you can walk that mile. But I was not okay with walking that mile in the dark, 2 a.m.
Yeah. You say it could be a bit of a rough mile.
It could be. I mean, I didn't live in a horrible neighborhood, but there was crime.
Well,
I lived in my last residence was in an area called Largo, which is right by where the Washington football team played their games. At the time, it was like FedEx Field.
That's the Commanders.
And there, well, you know what I'm saying.
No, it's the Commanders.
There was, it was called like Capitol Boulevard Center, and that's where the Largo stop was. And Cap Boulevard Center was like this big shopping area, kind of an outdoor mall, movie theater, restaurants. So I'm like a mile from this place. So, of course, we're at Cap Center all the time. There was this great soul food place that was like the only place I felt like I could get food that reminded me of home.
Oh, my God.
So I'd go get like collard greens and cornbread and stuff like that. So I ate there constantly. And then, of course, there's the shopping and stuff. But there had been a drive-by shooting. It was around the time that 50 Cent movie had come out. Do you remember that movie? What was it called? Like
Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a drive-by at that movie theater, and like a local, I think he was from Bowie High School, like a football, I want to say he was like a quarterback, like popular kid, got killed. And that was like huge news at the time. And, people were kind of like, shit, because this hadn't really happened at a place like the Cap Center. So,
right.
So of course at that time I was like, okay, took cabs home, but was always really sketched out about it.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
So here in Nashville, you have these rogue drivers. Obviously, the cops are thinking about that as well because they feel pretty confident that a cab or taxi of some sort was involved.
Right.
With her, the victim,
well, her friend
after
Anna
she left.
helped her get into
Right.
this cab.
So there's proof right there.
Like she was in a cab. In some of the early days, people speculated that Livia died by a hit-and-run accident, but law enforcement has been able to rule that theory out. There was no evidence she was run over or struck by a vehicle. Rather, the evidence suggested she was pushed or fallen. She was pushed, fallen, or had jumped out of the car.
So it seems she has impact to her head, right? It sounds pretty significant.
She's got the hands and the knees.
And it sounds like a little road rash. So I think it's a pretty good guess.
And it seems like she's been like hit.
Yeah.
In the back of the head with something.
Right, and that could be your head striking. It could be your head striking the asphalt.
It could be
because you said we all grow up watching movies and they do all these things. If you try to jump out of a damn car going 20 miles an hour, you're not rather athletic or know what to do, you can get fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Let alone if a car's speeding away or something.
Yeah.
Because you come out and you start that tumble and boom, one head strike and that's it.
Due to a lack of breakthrough in the case, Livia's family and friends have expressed they believe law enforcement has not done a very good job investigating the death. Yeah, law enforcement has barked back by saying, we've exhausted every avenue, but we can't really do anything with a lack of evidence. It's just a really hard case to crack. They don't know if it was an accidental death or a homicide. Livia's brother now owns her Nashville home where her friend Adam resides, and he's tried getting roommates, redecorating, a number of things, but he said it's been really difficult living in Livia's house.
Yeah, it's I could imagine any family or friends of someone who's lost like this, it would be hard to stay living in. I'm sure a lot of people move or change their residence if they can for that very reason.
One of the theories surrounding Livia's death involves a cab driver named Samir Hindi. He was a yellow cab driver who was identified as a suspect in a Belmont student's sexual assault on New Year's Day in 2015. He was sentenced to 2 years after accepting a plea deal in the sexual battery case. He's a registered sex offender, but now resides outside of the Nashville area. Lawsuits filed in 2015 show a pattern of behavior by Hindi. He had complaints about aggressive behavior and many traffic violations. After the rape arrest, he was finally fired as a driver. Yellow Cab was accused of negligence by keeping him employed after a female rider accused him of sexual assault during a taxi ride to her East Nashville home. The lawsuit describes Hindi fondling and groping the woman, including placing his hand up her skirt despite protests.
See, there should be no plea deals when there's sexual assault and these things. Because if these people are truly guilty and there's evidence to, prove them guilty and convict them, they don't stop. I mean, someone who's willing to violate, just that right there is so disgusting to me, to be groping, just even groping a woman unwarranted or who doesn't want it. It really makes my stomach turn. And I can only imagine shoving my hand up on her dress. That's just so disgusting to me.
I don't get it.
It is just... It's horrible. Such a violation of someone's personal space and just everything.
It's not okay.
It pisses me off. And I don't think there should be plea deals. I think they should hammer the fuck out of them. It doesn't matter with the cost or any of that shit. Those people need as much time. There need to be stiffer penalties, stiffer laws, longer sentences on the books for a sexual assault. Rape should be, it's been floated out there lately. I've been saying it for years. Should be the death penalty. Should have
his face in Florida, DeSantis.
It's the only thing he's ever.
I know. I was going to say that's about the only thing he's ever done that I agree with. But
I don't
he's floated the idea of sexual predators should get the death penalty.
It should be on the table. It should, and you should be stopped sooner and quicker.
Well, I think when there's absolutely no doubt, you have DNA evidence, you have every bit of information pointing to this person.
Witness testimony, because you kind of don't forget the person who fucking violates you.
This person did this. Absolutely.
You just sat there and watched some woman have to relive this horrible shit again in public in front of every fucking body and tell their story, and in your heart that it's the truth. Women and children. Well, a person. Yeah, that person should be fucking hammered.
We know how you feel about it, honey. Calm down.
This story's very, very sad story.
It is. The woman contacted Yellow Cab with complaints, and she was told he was probably, quote, from the old country and just being flirtatious.
Let's see. That's horrible.
I mean,
well, and that shows you a culture.
This is your employee?
Yeah.
And you're going to excuse this behavior? I don't care what country you're from. And what the hell is the old country?
I don't know how that would excuse anything, but that just shows you a culture, a toxic culture at this company.
It absolutely does.
That's not one bad actor.
100%.
Yeah.
They gave her the same song and dance that they'd given police in Livia's case. We have no record of who the driver was, despite GPS data they were supposed to be collecting at this time, and the fact that she even had the driver's phone number.
Really?
Yes.
So at this point, after Livia's death, they were supposed to have GPS and all that. And that's the only benefits that come from these horrible situations is when we try to change, the family members typically drive all that.
Well, recently
the laws
we
being changed.
Covered a case where we talked about the young woman in Colombia. I think it's like Sam's Law, where she, if you recall, had gotten into... Maybe it wasn't Sam.
Oh, is this that Uber? Or just got in that car outside?
Yeah. What she thought was the ride share.
Yes.
And it ended up not being an Uber driver, and he killed her.
Is that where they started making sure they sent the picture of the driver and all these things changed?
But I know recently that law had passed requiring specific things from the drivers, to try to keep customers safe.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and that's... And a lot of times, family members of the victims are who drives that legislation. I'm going to watch a documentary about Amber Alert. I'm not even familiar with the case.
It's Amber Hagerman, and I'm familiar with this case.
Maybe I am, but I'm going to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
And you see things like that. what is the code Adam in stores or retail
absolutely,
settings where they lock down the building, and there's all kinds of those, but this company's not even. These new requirements, they're not even keeping up with it, and it doesn't sound like they're being held accountable. So it's bullshit.
Yeah, the whole system needs to be, what do you say? Like, it needs to be in place, and they need to be evaluated, and there needs to be some sort of agency interference when they're not following protocols. I mean,
if you can own a mall, for instance, and know that multiple victims have been, kidnapped out of your parking lot, and you haven't taken the time and money and just for the humanity of it, and wired your entire property for video and sound, you're a disgusting person. You're a disgusting person. What the freaking hell, man? I'm gonna fight somebody.
oh gosh.
I'm gonna fight this anonymous mall owner for charity.
Okay.
Yeah, but you guys, y'all, the listeners, can choose the charity, and I'm going to fight this son of a bitch. I haven't even seen
we could
him or
donate
her.
the money to like a victim's cause.
And look, people, if it's a woman, because I'm trying to be open minded, the woman can own it. It ain't just a man that's going to own them all, right? I'm gonna have to fight her now. So y'all don't be coming at me about that, talking about don't hit women, because she's coming at me, and I'm going to hit her.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with
I'm
you?
gonna fight. This is the anonymous asshole mall owner. Fuck her.
Okay, well, we don't know if it's a her.
Well, I'm saying if it is, I'm still fighting her.
See, okay, calm down.
Oh, okay.
You're going on a tangent here.
I'm not going to fight this fake woman.
And then somebody's going to take that clip of you, and then they're going to see like Dylan's a woman beater, and then we're going to get canceled.
Yeah, they're going to clip that shit out. That's good stuff.
Which is, okay, I just have to say, for all of you out there, you don't know Dylan, but he's like a big teddy bear. And he never gets mad. I think I've seen him mad like one time. And he's such a gentle creature that he ain't gonna fight nobody.
I don't want to have to fight this anonymous mall owner.
Dylan's a lover, not a fighter. Now, after his arrest, this guy Samir Hindi, police questioned him about Livia's death, but they didn't get anywhere. He just like refused to talk to them. Nearly a decade later, Livia's case remains unsolved.
There you go. Damn. But 10 years almost, that friends and family and just the area have no idea what happened to this poor woman.
It does sound to me like something, I mean, it had to happen in this cab.
Well, okay, it likely happened in the cab from the evidence in your story. Or the only other possibility is she goes very quickly from the cab and ends up in another vehicle with someone. And what's the odds of that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, in a 7-minute drive to her house,
I'm saying. So that seems very unlikely, right?
Right.
So yes, I think something happened in that cab. I mean, if not, then you would think the driver, because you're going to remember Olivia, this cute girl, late at night.
Yeah, pretty blonde.
Things are slowing down.
Has that charismatic personality.
You're going to remember her getting in your cab. I don't care who you are. And you would come forward and say, no, wait a minute. Nothing, I picked her up. And then you tell the police what you know, what you saw, where you dropped her off, whatever happened. But then no one to ever pop their head. Because I'm sure these cops aren't going to care. Honestly, if you came forward as a citizen, like, no, I was a driver, they're not going to care, likely, that if you're unregulated, unlicensed, illegal immigrant, or any of that, they're going to be happy you came forward and gave the information that could help them.
That's why I think it's very suspect.
Yes.
No, I thought the same thing, Dylan.
Boom.
Well, that has been the mysterious death of Livia Smith. Yeah, I mean, I saw this case and I just felt like we had to talk about it. I mean, maybe someone knows something and I don't know. I always think maybe we'll help a little bit or something. Yeah,
and if you're hearing this podcast, hearing this story, Heather's story, jogs anyone's memory, contact Nashville authorities.
Yeah. One of my main sources for this was an article in the Nashville Scene, and then, of course, other news articles from various outlets in and around the Nashville area.
Nice. Yeah, I guess I apologize to the listeners. We was all over the place a little bit, but hey, it was fun. It
happens.
There's heart in this. I'm full of it.
We're passionate people, Dylan.
Very passionate people.
Well, we ask you, if you have a listener story, make sure you drop those in an email to mountainmurderspodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at Mountain Murders and on Instagram at Appalachian True Crime Podcast.
Yeah, and I'm going to beg listeners just for one more second. We're almost to the mark. We need to start where we can monetize on YouTube. So if every time I say this, a few people go and hit the subscribe button on YouTube to our Mountain Murders channel. Even if you never go back ever again, it helps us. We're almost to the number. Please, just 2 people who hear me pleading this, go ahead and go open it while you're listening on YouTube and subscribe to the Mountain Murders channel.
And we're feeling the love. So if you want to give a little back, you can always hit subscribe wherever you listen and drop us a 5-star review. Those do help us on the charts.
And I like to read them.
Dylan does like to read those.
It makes me smile on the inside.
Well, they make you feel good. And we do have some wonderful listeners who give us great feedback. So thanks so much. I had a very good case suggestion come in this week from one of our listeners, Angel. It is, I believe, out of West Virginia, but I think it would be a really fun, maybe like a midweek or some sort of bonus episode. So I'm going to start digging into the information that she sent. If you send us an email, I always personally reply. So
yes,
you will hear back from us. And don't forget, if you would like to support the show, Patreon is a great way to do that. It's a subscription service. We have various levels where you can sign up. That money gets you access to ad-free episodes, of course, the bonus episodes that we release there. We've told you about it before, but we have a Discord chat. And we've kind of been toying with the idea of perhaps doing some kind of live stream and having folks call in on Discord so that we can do almost like a Q&A or something. I feel like this could be really fun, Dylan.
That would.
So we need to figure out how to make that happen.
Well, you got to find the angle where I don't look fat.
Well, that's the thing.
And I don't think it exists.
We've really been trying to push the making more video content and doing some more like live kinds of things. We're really just trying to work on the we have all the equipment. Just trying to work on a good camera setup.
I think it's going to take Industrial Light and Magic, famously of George Lucas in Star Wars, to make me look not fat on the video.
Well, you know what? You're really handsome, but I have a face for radio.
No, you're cute, baby. I love it.
So maybe I'm like a good behind-the-scenes narrator. I don't know.
Maybe we should just make cutouts of ourselves, and then we'll just keep the audio.
Maybe we could just do it with hand puppets.
Okay.
Would that work?
Actually, we could try that.
You know what? I just had a genius idea. There we go. A hand puppet that does true crime on TikTok. Someone's going to steal my idea.
Dude, don't give that one away for free.
Okay. I'm going to edit that out.
All right. Till next time.
Okay. We'll see you here in a few days with a midweek update.
Yeah. And if you guys see random pallets of bricks, send me pictures.
Okay. Bye, Dylan.
Bye.